Exothermic versus endothermic reactions by Josie Collier. First, we can start with what do the prefixes endo and exo mean for endo and exothermic reactions. Exo means the release of heat, while endo means the absorption of heat. Whenever heat is absorbed or produced during a chemical reaction, it means that the heat is either a product or reactant of the chemical equation. For an endothermic reaction, heat is absorbed, so that means it is on the reactant side of the chemical equation. An example of this is the decomposition of calcium carbonate into carbon dioxide and calcium oxide. But for an exothermic reaction, heat is produced, so that means heat is on the product side of the equation. An example of this is the synthesis of sodium and chlorine. This is to form sodium chloride, which is also known as table salt. A good thing to always remember is that during a chemical reaction, heat can also be a limiting reactant. Another important thing to know about exothermic and endothermic reactions is how they are represented in energy diagrams. The first energy diagram I will talk about is the endothermic reaction energy diagram. In this diagram, the potential energy is on the y-axis and the reaction coordinate or rate of the reaction is on the x-axis. For an endothermic reaction, the potential energy of the reactants is lower than the potential energy of the products. This is because it takes more energy for the reaction to proceed. In this diagram, the delta H of the reaction, or enthalpy of reaction, is positive because there is an intake of heat. The next energy diagram is an exothermic reaction energy diagram. In this diagram, the potential energy of the reactants is higher than the potential energy of the products. This is because more energy is released when the reaction proceeds, and because of this, the delta H of the reaction is negative because heat is being produced. A great way to know if a reaction is endothermic or exothermic is whether there is a temperature change or not, because temperature is a measure of heat. If there is a decrease in temperature, the reaction is endothermic, and if there is an increase in temperature, that means the reaction is exothermic. A great way to connect the field of chemistry and biology is through endothermic and exothermic reactions. This is because of photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis and its chemical equation requires heat, so it's an endothermic reaction. In this equation, 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 6 water molecules, and heat combine to form glucose and 6 oxygen molecules. The last thing that we will cover is endothermic and exothermic reactions and their favorability in nature. For an endothermic reaction, the delta H is positive, so this means that this reaction is not favorable in nature. But for an exothermic reaction, it means that the delta H is negative, so in this reaction, it is favorable in nature. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something about the differences in exothermic and endothermic reactions.